is George Farkas. I'm a criminal lawyer. And I've been asked to do something that is normally not something that I do, and that is to tell you how to avoid becoming my client. It's actually, I guess, one Jew helping out other Jews and trying to get them into a situation where, by their behavior, they don't suffer either embarrassment or loss of liberty by going to jail, or loss of money by having to pay fines, and all kinds of other bad stuff that happens if you're charged with a crime. So the obvious thing that I could tell you is don't commit a crime, and this way you'll never see me in a professional way. But there are more nuances that I think you should be aware of, especially in the Jewish community. When you are torn between proper conduct and who to listen to and how to conduct yourself, as a general principle, laws of the community don't conflict with the laws of society. But sometimes the people that you listen to will give you advice, or you will hear things that somehow or other, coming from somebody of high standing, you give it more credence, and accordingly you act. And then you may end up with a problem. Let me give you some examples from previous cases that I've had. If a high-ranking member of the community, who is highly regarded, who asks you to do certain things involving federal programs, city programs, or programs that generate money, and you do certain things by either making certain false registrations or making claims for benefits that you may not be entitled to, simply because it sounds like easy money, my suggestion is you don't do it. And the reason is as follows. Sooner or later, by and large, these scams that very often happen and have happened in the community catch up with you, and then all of a sudden you're looking at jail time, fines, and it costs you more money between my legal fees and what you owe the courts than if you would have stayed on the straight and narrow. Examples of this would be as follows. A husband and wife have a wonderful marriage, but the wife then reports that the husband has left her with her 10 children, and therefore she needs benefits. Well, that's all well and good until the investigators all of a sudden produce videotapes, much like this, that shows that the husband leaves every morning with his talus bag going to daven, and then he comes back home, and on Friday night he's playing with the children. And when they confront the people with that, they usually confront them with handcuffs. That's just one example of many. Certainly there are other ways that you can get into a problem by listening to the wrong people. Everybody is fully aware of the sexual abuse cases involving underage people in the community, and it's almost on an epidemic proportion. Now, I don't think that the Jewish community has the corner on this market. All communities have the same problems. But the Jewish community, unfortunately, is held up to a very high standard. And whenever that happens, it always makes the newspapers. Growing up in a very strict and a very structured atmosphere at times may lead you to try to experiment with alternate ways of communicating and interacting with people. Just be careful that whatever you do, you are comporting with the laws of society at large, and that you don't take things very lightly, such as the word of possibly a seemingly influential individual who may have their own personal issues. I don't want to give you any specific examples of that because that would be invading the privacy of certain clients. But it is sufficient to say that whatever you do, just fully understand that while rabbis and other community leaders may have the interests of the community at heart and probably yours also, sometimes those interests conflict with the interests of prosecutors and the police. And at the end of the day, given today's tenor of the times, the society at large is going to trump the interests of the people, the influential people in the community, and you're going to have to be answering to them. As far as I'm concerned, I can't tell you much more about how to avoid being my client, other than acting as normally and in as good faith as possible. But if there is one guideline that I can tell you, is that if it sounds too good, if it sounds too easy, stay away from it, because generally speaking, it's going to get you into some kind of trouble.